Hey Rush fans, it's Rob at the Firehouse Skybox. We are your official home for Rapid City Rush hockey. When the Rush are playing on the road, join other Rush fans at the Skybox and enjoy some great food and cheer on your Rush. We show every Rush away game and we'll have Rush-themed giveaways every road trip. You'll get a chance to win great Rush prizes with the purchase of a drink or food item. The Skybox has the best food and the best Rush game day experience. Go Rush!
We all know life's busy, and if you get sick, you can get behind pretty quick. That's where Black Hills Urgent Care comes in. No appointments needed, no long waits, just fast, affordable care to get you feeling better quicker. Black Hills Urgent Care has 2 locations in Rapid City on Haynes Avenue and Mountain View Road. You can simply check in online at bhucare.com. That's with the letter U, bhucare.com. When you need care, see the team at Black Hills Urgent Care, the faster way to get better.
We're bringing Music City to you. Get ready for Nashville Night on March 22nd at the Box Elder Event Center. The concert kicks off at 7 p.m. with the talented Jessica Luby, followed by the high-energy Velvet Rodeo. Put on your boots and get ready to dance. Plus, test your skills on the mechanical bull.
Hold on tight, honey. You got it.
And enjoy Nashville hot chicken sandwiches.
Yeehaw!
Tickets are just $20 in advance or $25 at the door. Get your tickets now at thebox.live. Don't miss out on the country event of the year.
KIMM Rapid City and K294BT Rapid City, the Black Hills Sports Station, 106.7 FM and 1150 AM, Fox Sports Rapid City.
And here's what you need to know.
Travis Kelce's going to be back in 2025 with the Kansas City Chiefs. The Chiefs tight end texting the Pat McAfee show that he's going to come back for sure next season, saying, quote, got a real bad taste in my mouth with how I played in that last game. I can't go out like that. That from Travis Kelce to Pat McAfee. Kelce to return in 2025. The Chiefs, by the way, also placed the franchise tag on guard Trey Smith. Heisman Trophy winner Travis Hunter is not working out in Indianapolis, designated at the NFL Combine as a defensive back. Said that he told teams today that he wants to play both positions, saying that he spoke with teams, some as a cornerback, some as a wide receiver. When asked if he could do both by teams, he said, yes, I'm different. Spurs head coach Greg Popovich announced he will not return to coaching this season following a mild stroke, says he's focusing on his health and hopes to coach again in the future. Jake Knapp, 59 today on the PGA Tour at the Cognizant Classic. He has a 4-shot lead at 12 under. I'm Dan Beyer.
It's time for South Dakota's Sports Talk Show. This is the Nate Brown Show, featuring live callers, great interviews, and thought-provoking sports talk. From the biggest national names to the hottest stories across South Dakota. Welcome to the Nate Brown Show. Here's your host, Nate Brown.
All right, welcome in. Thursday edition of the program. Glad you're here. Hope you're enjoying your Thursday. It is always a great day in South Dakota, and South Dakota Sports Talk Show is back. We're live 2 hours, thought-provoking sports talk from South Dakota and beyond. We got you covered. Great guests across the board. The Nate Brown Show is live. We are on Fox Sports Radio. Welcome in on the radio side. Thanks for tuning us in each afternoon drive home. And also on X right now. Stream us anywhere on X at Nate Brown Show. So bring us up on your phone. You've got us all the time. Watch the show live on X right now at Nate Brown Show. Follow the show. Interact with our question of the day and have a little fun on X. Can we have fun, or is it just all vitriol? I think it's okay. Follow the show on X at Nate Brown Show, and also on YouTube right now. The YouTube channel is live, The Nate Brown Show. So you've got us phone, radio, however you're getting us. We appreciate you making this show possible. The Nate Brown Show guest lineup is brought to you by Forever Lawn of South Dakota. Great company with the best lineup of artificial grass in South Dakota. You've got Forever Lawn. Google them. Take a look for yourself. They got the best lineup here. Golf greens, landscape grass, canine grass. It's all specific stuff, and you can know why when you check them out. Sports grass, playground grass. So check it out. They're ready to install this spring and summer across the entire state. They service both sides of the state. Wherever you're listening from, Google Forever Lawn in South Dakota. It's maintenance-free landscape. You can have a great summer. You don't have to worry about this stuff. It looks really, really good. Don't have to touch it. So Google Forever Lawn in South Dakota and get started for 2025. The Forever Lawn guest lineup tonight Here it is. Ryan Roberts is live from the Combine. So we got some coverage from the Combine here. What's that look like out there in Indianapolis? Are they having some fun? Let's talk to Ryan Roberts, NFL draft analyst for A to Z Sports. He is in Indianapolis. Ryan Roberts does a great job on the college football side and NFL draft side. He is live from Indy coming up. Zach Borg tonight, Dakota News Now, sports anchor live, talking high school sports. We've got Zach Borg in, and national NFL writer Eric Williams from FoxSports.com. The NFL has made a change for this upcoming season, and they're sugarcoating it. Nobody knows really what's all behind this here. And I might have got the wool pulled over my eyes yesterday. I thought this thing was magic. I thought it was all going to be great for this upcoming season. Now I'm not so sure. I'm going to get into this with Eric Williams, national NFL writer, FoxSports.com. It is Thursday, so it's happy hour coming up tonight. That's the second hour, so hang tight. Our guest host is Rob Kegron every Thursday, and it's a great hour with Rob. Thursday happy hour, Rob Kegron, our guest host, coming up. So we'll put in some work here. 2 hours. Let's get ready to go. Get you on the show if you want in. Pizza Ranch Studio Hotline is 605-720-1067. Pizza Ranch Studio Hotline, 605-720-1067. And the Nate Brown Show text line as well. Barron's Wilson text line, 605-720-1067. Same number if you can't call the show. You can text the show, 605-720-1067. All right, I want to start with a couple of South Dakota sports topics tonight. And one is, well, I'll tell you, the credit card machines are under attack in the Sioux Falls School District. I'm not laughing. I'm not laughing. I'm not messing around today. No, we mess around. Here's the deal. I didn't know if it was going to keep going this far, and it's been through the House. It went over to the Senate. It barely got through there. It went back to the House, and it got to the floor today. Senate Bill 219. What is Senate Bill 219? What is this all about? It's about the Sioux Falls School District mainly, and there's been a few others, but not having cash at high school sports events or high school events in general. Okay, but we've been discussing it on this show. It's been a sports thing, and the Sioux Falls School District has went cashless, and we saw this coming last year. And there's people that have said, this is not working. You got to change this. Now, some people on the record have said, there's not that many people complaining about this. They actually said that at a hearing this week. Sioux Falls Lincoln AD, he said, there hasn't been hardly any problems, and we've taken care of it if there is. But Senate Bill 219, why am I discussing it tonight to start the show? It has passed the House. So you follow this process. It passed the Senate. It has passed the House. It's on its way to Governor Roden's desk. What's he going to do? So now we've got to see if the Sioux Falls School District and others, the few others that have implemented cashless ticketing at school events, if they're going to be, I guess, made to accept cash. Or if you don't, and they show you they have cash, you got to let them into your games for free at Sioux Falls Lincoln and wherever else. So here's the deal. I've been in this thing saying I'm not going to get mad about either way. I'm not going to get mad about either way. There's so many people that don't do cash anymore. There's so many venues in sports that don't do cash anymore. A huge amount. And so my deal is I think they had to keep tweaking this bill just to make it specific, basically, to tell Sioux Falls, you got to accept cash. That's kind of what it feels like to me. Because the other bills that they had here, the Board of Regents schools were in it. Well, they had to take them out. Concessions, they said, you got to accept cash for concession. Well, no. They had to take that out, too, because there's third-party vendors and stuff like that. So they just kept going and whittling away, and they made it out to be like a huge thing that Sioux Falls is on this quest to not recognize cash for the rest of history. And I don't think that's the case. I think that's been a simple thing, and then it turned into a mess. It turned into a quagmire, and now you've got a bill all the way through the House and the Senate, and now it's going to go to the governor. And I don't know what's going to happen with this because I've always said I'm not mad really either way. All I think the solution would be, would you have a cash line? And it wouldn't have to be a legislative hearing and another discussion. And I don't think we would have had to go down that road. And I'm not sure exactly why it did. Did Sioux Falls take this hard stance and just say, you will not enter? You will not enter. I don't think so. I don't think so, at least according to some of the testimony I've heard. But then you look into it and you say, if they can say schools have to accept cash, can the legislative session next year say these businesses in South Dakota must accept cash? That's the slippery slope. And I'm not going to get into the cash debate, political debate. I didn't feel that strongly either way. Should you have somebody give $6 to get into a high school game in Sioux Falls? Probably. I mean, if you have $6, you got $6. But I don't think we got to change it now, change it this way, change it that way, just to make sure. And how big of a problem was it? Well, it got through. The House passed it affirmative by 2 votes here. What was it, 36 to 34 today? So get out that cash if you want. But again, you can use your card at concessions. Okay. And by the way, the Activities Association in Pierre, they do state events. So they're a little concerned if they do a state event, let's say at the Pentagon. The Pentagon is cashless. Okay. Is that going to happen in the future at the Monument Rapid City Premier Center? Okay. Is it totally going to go cashless? Well, I don't know. But the Pentagon right now is cashless. They've done state tournaments there. We know that. So the Activities Association's like, wait a second. Can we now do a state event? Can we do the girls' state basketball tournament at the Pentagon? If the state law says you have to accept cash at a school-affiliated event, school-affiliated event would be a state tournament possibly. So this is where it gets a little sticky, and I don't think it had to be really, really difficult. And it turned into this old guard cash against, no, I don't want to be tracked, and I don't have credit cards, and I don't, we shut people out, and we don't let them watch their kids play. I don't think that was the case. So, yeah, we'll see which way this goes. Will Governor Roden sign it, and then what's the Sioux Falls School District going to have to do on that side of it? So it passed the House. It passed the Senate. One more step, the governor's signature. We'll see what happens. Legislative session winding down. So how about that? I always bring cards with me. I rarely have cash, so I'm kind of on the other side. My wife got into my car yesterday, and I had some cash, and she goes, man, you got a lot of money. It was like $8. You got a lot of money in there. Yeah. All right. Good luck. Let's see. I've always thought there's a compromise. If you want to go cashless, many people, 80% of the people want to go cashless, great. Got to have a cash option. That was the compromise before it went off the rails. And it kind of went off the rails, and a state law might be enacted. I don't think you can go down that road of telling private businesses and stuff like this now what to do. Can you walk in and tell the Sanford Pentagon, you have to change your policy and accept cash for a state girls basketball tournament? That's iffy. That's iffy. Telling private businesses how to run things. That's a little iffy. So we'll see where that goes. All right. Let's see. We'll take a quick call. Thanks for getting in. You're live, and you go ahead.
Hey, Nate. How you doing, buddy?
Good, man.
Happy Thursday. My question is kind of rhetorical, and I know you can't answer it, but who chose that hill to die on to make this that big of an issue?
Yeah. Well, see, which side? I don't know. It was some constituents said, we're going to bring this up, and then a legislator said, okay, I'll bring it up, and here comes a bill, and that's where you go.
Like, people need something better to do. Like, seriously. I mean, yay for being active in the political process, but come on, man.
Yeah.
Anyway, whoever's listening, if you're part of it, just chill. already.
Okay.
Anyway,
thanks,
all right,
buddy.
Have a good night.
Appreciate you. It's not a bad advice, Chill. Not a bad advice, Chill. Okay, I've got something that. Am I going to be told to chill on this? Am I going to be told to chill? So let's go to. Speaking of high school sports, let's go to basketball. Okay, let's go to basketball. Basketball right now, tonight, tomorrow. There's region tournament games. Class A and Class B, okay? The AA is winding down their regular season. Give you a sense for where things are at in postseason basketball here. But Class A and Class B teams having region games tonight, tomorrow. These are the games that'll determine who gets into the SODAC 16. So right now there's 8 regions. Let's go. So, like Class A, there's 8 regions. All these teams are in each region, okay? They take the top 2. You win your games in the region. You're a top 2 team out of, let's say, Region 6. You get into the SODAC 16. So then there's your 16 teams. You seed it out, and we get various teams from across the state into the State A tournament. We brought this, the SODAC 16 thing started a while ago. I haven't really went ballistic on it. It's worked out pretty well. Class A, Class B, I think you get some pretty darn good teams that way to the state tournaments. But this keeps on getting brought up that the 16 is not enough. Let's go SODAC 32 so we can take 4 teams from each region. That would be 4 and seed it out right away. That's the, if you follow how I'm doing this, instead of just the top 2 teams from each region of the state, Region 8, 2, okay, you'd go, no, we're going to do the top 4, seed it out right away, so then you'd have 2 games to get into the state tournament. And you would then do what? You would have possibly like quite a few teams from the same region maybe making the state tournament. Not just giving 2 teams a chance, but you're going to give 4 teams a chance. That's what they call the SODAC 32. Do we want 4 teams from one region to make up half of the state tournament field? 4 teams from one region? And do we want to make the high school kids travel? Some of these teams now have to travel twice, not just a long SODAC 16 game where you could have somebody on the west side travel all the way east for one game. But in SODAC 32, you'd have to play 2 now. I might have to travel back to back on a long trip, potentially, from East River to West River, 2 games, not just 1. So the travel, the expense, the student aspect of this, I think we always forget about. So this SODAC 32, everybody's worried about, there's so many good teams in this one region, like in girls basketball in Class A. Sioux Falls Christian, Dakota Valley, Vermilion. Wow, they're all really, really good. That's good. But everybody always thinks those are the teams that would make it if you just let them. And everybody forgets, we've done this system. We changed the system a while ago where it's not just winning your region. We go, let's do 2 teams out of the region, seed them out and see what happens. Right? Let's seed them out and see what happens. So you may not have a regional representation. You just may not. You get to be in the SODAC 16, but you might lose. Sorry. So it's not like we're just guaranteeing some team out of region, but now they want to go further and further. This was brought up last year. Now there's an article out from a sports broadcaster in Mitchell. It said, well, we've got to change this thing. It's hard, but it's for the better. I don't believe it is for the better. Nobody argued about this years ago. Do you remember St. Thomas More and Custer? You guys remember this back in the day across the state? Their boys' basketball teams were right there battling each other. Only 1 team could make it. Not 2. There was 1 that could make it out of Custer and St. Thomas More back in the day. And then when Custer kind of went downhill, then Red Cloud rose. And then it was Red Cloud and St. Thomas More. Only 1 team could make it. And nobody whined about that at all. I come from the state of Montana. I've been here over 25 years, but I'm from Montana. I never even thought, it never even crossed my mind that if we didn't win our region, we should still get a chance at state. As a high school basketball player, it never crossed my mind. I was like, you got to win. We got to win. And that's really what it comes down to. You just have to win. So Sioux Falls Christian, Dakota Valley, great teams, Class A girls, you just have to win. You just have to win no matter what. We've opened up the process. There is more chances for teams that maybe can't get out of their region, just one team. So let's open it up, try two, see who's good. SODAC 16 has opened up the process. It hasn't hurt at all. The travel for another game, SODAC 32. Basically, you're just trying to extend, like, do people not want any regional aspect to state tournaments at all? This is not guaranteed in the SODAC 16, by the way. It's not guaranteed. Usually you still end up with some pretty good teams from East River, West River, one or two West River. Pretty good, usually. But I do believe a state tournament should represent the state to a point and not half of the state tournament is from this region. Half of a state tournament's from one area? I think we've got it. I think we've got it right now. Let's see. 32 teams would be fine if and only if the state tournament was single elimination. Single elimination. Well, that's essentially what you're doing right now. What do I mean by that? You're just like extending the one-game state tournament thing. You're just extending, like, you're opening up. You're making it basically a statewide tournament right away. It's like 32 teams make it. You just have to keep winning. And these matchups that you'd have, they would be so bad in the first round. Can you imagine? Number 1 versus 32. Can you imagine those games? Bad games. Let's see. Listener text, it would be great to have the tourney like the NCAA, have Sweet 16 teams across the state, have an all-girls and all-boys Final Four. Listener text, sounds some don't want regions anymore at all. How do we like the no regions? How's that going in football? Yeah. Remember, we got rid of that. That was the big thing. Got to get rid of that in football. So, to me, regional aspect of a state tournament still a little bit important, even though we don't guarantee it with the SODAC 16. We really don't. But we still give some shots. We don't just say, let's just take the top 32, have really bad first-round games, see who's left, make teams travel back-to-back to try and get into the state tournament. So I gotta now travel across from East River to West River twice maybe just to get into the state tournament? 2 long trips back-to-back? I got to do that just to get into the state tournament when I'm a top 2 team in my region, but we don't like that? I'm out on that. It's been brought up the last couple of years, and I don't know where everybody was when Pine Ridge and Red Cloud and Little Wound, they were all in the same region. Only one team could make it. They were all really good. I've been covering high school hoops here a long time. I remember these teams. St. Thomas More, Red Cloud, boys basketball. Years ago, one team could make it. And I mean, nobody was crying because everyone was like, hey, that's the way it is. But now it's no, we gotta change this stuff. SODAC 16. It's fine. It really is. It gets good teams to the state tournament. If you're in a tough region, you're in a tough region. Are you really going to win a state championship if you can't win your region? Eric Williams, NFL writer, Fox Sports. I think the NFL says they're changing something big for this upcoming year. I don't think it's as big as I thought. Next.
This is South Dakota's Sports Talk Show.
President's Day sale is on at Splash City. Rest, relax, and enjoy a new Sundance or Jacuzzi spa. Splash City has a large inventory of hot tubs, swim spas, and saunas. No wait time. Right now, during the President's Day sale, get 0% financing for 60 months on hot tubs and swim spas, or up to $5,000 in instant rebates. Plus, get an accessory package valued at $2,000 with all qualifying purchases. But wait, there's more. Get 0% financing for 36 months on saunas. Visit Splash City in Sioux Falls, Rapid City, or Sioux City. It's time to make a splash. You've earned it.
Hey, Sioux Falls sports fans, there's a great new sports bar in Sioux Falls, Boston's Restaurant and Sports Bar on West Russell Street in the Ramada Water Park Hotel. If you want to watch games, UFC, they've got it, wall-to-wall TVs, and the best part, great food. Gourmet pizza at Boston's, tons of wing options, great burgers, and a lot more. Bring the family, bring the team, bring your crew to the new Boston's Restaurant and Sports Bar in Sioux Falls on West Russell Street. Plus, you can order online for lunch or dinner. Just go to bostons.com.
Monument Health Orthopedics and Sports Medicine is everywhere you need us to be. On the sidelines, supporting our local athletes, at our clinic locations throughout the region, and at our Ortho Express walk-in clinic when you don't have time to wait. We're here when you need us, working as a team to make your comeback stronger than ever. Getting stronger, getting better, getting you back to your best self. The life of an athlete has its uncertainties, wins and losses, injury and recovery. In the Black Hills area, athletes can always count on Monument Health Orthopedics and Sports Medicine, here for whatever moves you.
Here's your Fox Sports Rapid City forecast. Lows level off around 39. Tonight, under mainly clear skies, winds out of the west 8 to 15 miles per hour. Mainly sunny tomorrow, daytime highs approaching 57. Lows around 28. Tomorrow night, partly cloudy skies. Daytime highs approaching 52. Saturday, under mainly sunny skies. 61 Sunday. That's your forecast on the Black Hills Sports Station, Fox Sports Rapid City. Right now, it's 59 degrees.
At Highmark Credit Union, we are big sports fans, and even bigger fans of our teachers. That's why we offer debit cards featuring our local high school mascots on the front. These cards are awesome, and every time you use your card, Highmark makes a donation to the school activity clubs. Highmark has donated over $5,000 locally to Rapid City and Douglas schools. So make the smart money move, show your school spirit, and open an account at Highmark. Visit highmarkfcu.com.
Cadillac Jacks is Deadwood's exclusive home of the Roaring Riches Jackpot. Just be actively playing your favorite slot machine with your club card engaged for your chance to win. The Roaring Riches Jackpot starts at $7,500 and must hit by $10,000. Plus, you can keep up to the minute on the current Roaring Riches total on your Cadillac Jacks mobile app. Roaring Riches has already paid out $2 million. Anyone at any time on any spin. You could be the next to win. Only at Cadillac Jacks Gaming Resort.
Whether you run the race, make the catch, cast a line, pitch a tent, or just look good doing it, Shields Rapid City has your gear. From athletic clothing from your favorite team, cold weather gear to keep you warm, to the best camping selection this side of the Black Hills, and the most stylish and functional women's outerwear and footwear. Shields has the widest selection of the best brands in the business. So when you're ready to get out, get in the game, we're right there with you at Rushmore Crossing in Rapid City.
Live callers, big-time interviews, and breaking sports news. This is South Dakota's sports talk show, The Nate.
Welcome back in. The Nate Brown Show is on Fox Sports Radio across South Dakota, South Dakota Sports Talk Show. Find us on Twitter. Stream us live at Nate Brown Show on Twitter right now. It's Thursday, happy hour with Rob Kegron in studio. Our second hour, hang tight. Guest host Rob Kegron. Well, he brings us a lot of great feedback. We love Rob in here every Thursday as our guest host. He's coming up Thursday, happy hour. A lot to discuss tonight. Hey, let's go to Eric Williams. Appreciate his time. National NFL writer, FoxSports.com. Eric Williams, it's Combine time. Eric, good to have you on. How are you?
It's good to be here. I'm doing good, Nate. Thanks for having me.
Well, I appreciate your time, man. So let me get into a couple of things. I'm going to get to where teams are at and that thing, but I want your perspective on this. The NFL announced yesterday they're going to go to the electronic measurement system. That was for this upcoming season, the electronic measurement system. The big thing on this, the refs are still going to spot the ball. So where people say, does Jimmy get it right? Well, he's going to spot the ball. Then we'll be able to tell, okay, did it reach the line or not? This doesn't feel like the whole automated system as kind of people were saying, oh, no, that's what we need to do. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. They've been using the automated spotting system in the UFL for, I think it's since the UFL's been going, last 2 or 3 years. And so I've been used to watching it and seeing it in person. You're right. I mean, with the refs spotting the ball themselves, it does lead to, there being the possibility of not being accurate. And it would make more sense to rely on, the automated computing system to spot it. So maybe that's something that gets changed over time. I'm just interested and happy that we're at least moving into the 21st century and using the technology that we have available instead of using, the chains, which, obviously we've been doing for 100 years since football has existed. Hopefully they get more calls right, which is, I think, what we want as people that watch the game. Particularly, you see what happened when Buffalo played Kansas City, and each of the officials were kind of marking it differently. So I think the main thing is we want is consistency, and hopefully this gets us closer to that.
Okay, so you say it's a step, and that's where I'm at. I'm like, hey, they still spotted the ball wrong in that Buffalo game. That's what Bills fans say. So they spotted the ball wrong, so this wouldn't change that. Why do you think the NFL, I guess, is just taking a small step? If the technology's there, are they nervous about it? It's kind of like baseball. They don't want to go full automated strike zone, I feel like.
Well, actually, I think it could change it if the automated spotting system is marking it differently than they're marking it on the field. Then hopefully they could get that corrected. It would be a way to change what's been initially marked by the officials. At least that's kind of my perspective on it. I don't know that for certain.
Okay. I look at this. I say they're still going to allow the refs to spot the ball, and they're going to see, well, okay, is it in line? Okay, the measurement system says you got the first down or not. It'll be interesting. I think it's a little smaller step than people maybe have wanted, and fans are still going to argue, right, Eric? Fans are
they're going to argue regardless.
Right. I believe that. Okay, let's talk about NFL headlines here. What do you think? I'm going to ask you about the Vikings. What do you think the Vikings should do here? This is a big topic with Sam Darnold. He's a young guy still, had a nice season, really nice. Had the most explosive pass plays in the NFL. Nobody really touched on that. Most explosive plays through the air, Sam Darnold this year. What do you think the Vikings should do here? Because he's going to get some money. Do they franchise tag? How do you play this out?
I think you see what the price tag is on the open market. And if it doesn't get too crazy, I think you bring him back. If the number is in the 40 to 50 million range, then I think you move on and you try to keep Daniel Jones in, so you have a veteran guy and you have insurance in case McCarthy's not ready to go. But I think if there's a chance of bringing Darnold back based on the season they had last year, I think you're obligated, if you're the Vikings, to try to put the best team on the field that you can. And I think they're better with Darnold than they are with anybody else based on how he performed last year.
Okay, I look at this and I say there's quarterbacks out there and you're wondering where everybody's going to end up. I just saw a report yesterday that Aaron Rodgers is a low priority free agent. You think that's accurate?
It might be accurate in terms of how many teams would be interested in having him on the roster. But again, I think it's going to depend on price and what Aaron, his representation is going to demand. Aaron has a home in Malibu, so a lot of people are thinking potentially he can end up with the Rams. If the Rams move on with Matthew Stafford, Aaron might not want to play in a place like Indy, where it's a little colder. So I think fit's going to be important when it comes to Rodgers. Maybe Pittsburgh would make more sense because they're closer to being able to compete for a postseason than somebody like Indy. But I wouldn't say that he's a low priority free agent just based on how he's playing, because I think the second half of the season he played pretty well. I just think it's going to depend on number of teams that fit, and I think that's a limited number of teams.
Eric Williams on tonight, NFL writer, FoxSports.com. You cover the NFC West. What are the Rams sitting here thinking with Matthew Stafford if he wants $50 million? Do you do that? Because I don't know what their options are.
Yeah, it's a great question. I think right now the answer is no, and that's why they're allowing Stafford to kind of shop himself around to see if there's a team that's not only willing to pay him, $50 million annually, which puts him amongst the top 10 quarterbacks in the league, which is probably where he deserves to be paid based on how he's played over the last couple of years. you're going to have to give the Rams some compensation as well. They're going to ask for a first-round pick. Maybe it's 2 seconds, but you're going to have to get that part right, along with paying Stafford, what he feels like he deserves on the open market. So, that's why he's out there, reportedly meeting with Tom Brady and skiing in Montana. I know here in Indianapolis, his representation has met with the Giants, and so those are the two teams that are out there. I think there's interest from the Steelers as well. I think from the Rams' perspective, they have a young team that's really led by their defense based on those draft picks that they've made over the last couple of years. And at some point, they're going to have to start paying their young players, whether it's Kobe Turner, Jared Verse is a rookie, so not for a couple of years, but they're going to have to play Puka Nacua. So I think they want to invest in those younger guys and not pay out a huge salary to somebody like Stafford that's going to be there maybe a year, 2 years tops. And then you also have to consider the injury piece. He has been, dinged up over the last couple of years, so they don't want to make a longer-term investment where a team like the Raiders that doesn't have anybody at the quarterback position might be more willing to give him a longer-term deal, which could mean a lot more money. Also, California taxes, larger chunk is being taken away from him in terms of compensation that way. And then I think lastly, Sean McVay feels like he has a system in place where he could be productive with anybody that plays quarterback. You go back to what Jared Goff was able to do in that system. Jimmy G was there last year. They could potentially bring him back and maybe draft a quarterback and still have a productive offense to, again, go with that defense that played very well for them in the postseason.
Stay in the NFC West, Eric. What's the latest on Brock Purdy and the 49ers here?
Yeah, was in the media scrum when Lynch, their GM, was talking, said that negotiations have begun here in Indy. And again, talking to people within that organizations, they love him. All indications are they want to bring him back and just need to get to the right number that makes Purdy happy and the team happy. They're hopeful that they could get something done before off-season workouts start in April. So we'll see what that number is going to be. I know his representation wants north of $50 million a year, which seems like a lot for somebody like Purdy. But again, that's what Lawrence is making. That's what Tua is making. He's certainly as good as those players. But I think the main thing is Purdy's a great fit for that franchise. Kyle Shanahan trusts him in that offense. And then once you get Purdy done, you could really start kind of building around him in terms of the offense so they can be productive and obviously finish better than the 6-11 record they had last year.
Last one on the defensive side. A lot of these people out there, Cleveland Browns, they don't plan to trade Myles Garrett. They say, we don't plan on that. Garrett said he's not going to stay with an extension or anything. What are the Browns, what are they going to do here?
They're going to trade Myles Garrett. I mean, plans change. If Myles doesn't want to play there, I think he has a lot of leverage to force his way out. You don't want to have an unhappy player, playing for your team. It just never works out well, particularly an elite player like Myles. And so I think they're saying all the right things right now publicly, but I think they're probably figuring out privately what the exit strategy is, what they can get for him, and then how they're going to build that team, once he's gone.
A lot of discussion with the GMs, the coaches at the Combine. Eric Williams is on it. Find his work at foxsports.com. NFL writer Eric Williams from Indy tonight. Eric, thanks for the time. I appreciate it.
Sure. Thanks for having me, Nate. Appreciate
it. Thanks a lot. Eric Williams on tonight from Indianapolis, side of the Combine, foxsports.com, national NFL writer. Let's switch gears into the draft side of this. So teams are there looking at these draft guys. Travis Hunter. Can he play both ways? Will he be the number one pick? Shedeur Sanders, how good is he? Cam Ward. Ryan Roberts breaks down the guys, the rookies, NFL draft analyst. He is at the Combine. We got good guys tonight. Ryan Roberts live from A to Z Sports next.
This is the Nate Brown Show.
There's nothing like it. Not for hundreds of miles in any direction. A gathering space for all kinds of people from all kinds of backgrounds to share, to revel, to stand together and celebrate life's greatest moments.
We are number one. So you can always be their number one. Black Hills Surgical Hospital and Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center. The number one hospital in the nation for major orthopedic surgery.
At Renewal by Andersen, we ask, why should we only feel the love on Valentine's Day in February? We have declared the entire month of February as the month of love. That's right, we did it. We laugh at February's snow and cold. We love installing the best new windows and doors. We love how warm, cozy, quiet, and more valuable our awesome windows and doors make our customers' homes. Love, love, love. Tell someone you love them today. And please book your free estimate right now at RBARapidCity.com. Feel the love every day in February with Renewal by Andersen.
Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center have provided expert bone, joint, and muscle care to patients in the Black Hills area since 1976. Whether you're an elite athlete, a weekend warrior, or just want to continue your active lifestyle, the orthopedic experts at Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center will help you stay in the game. Don't let an injury keep you from doing the things you love. Trust the team at Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center, specializing in what moves you. Learn more at BHOSC.com.
Do you have a financial game plan for your life? Hi, this is Lee Cruz, your local trusted New York Life agent here in Rapid City. My passion is helping you put the pieces in place for your family to make sure your game plan is a success. For over 175 years, New York Life has been helping people like yourself take action in securing their future. Don't wait, take action and Google Lee Cruz New York Life or call 605-360-8804. We will work together on putting your family first.
Looking for a great place for a pregame meal that really satisfies? Or maybe you want a place to take your all-star after the game. Or you're looking for a place to enjoy a delicious meal while watching your favorite team on the big screen TV. Valley Sports Bar and Grill has all the bases covered for all those things and more. Top-notch, friendly, and attentive service. Wall-to-wall big screen TVs with all the big games. And the absolute best wings in Rapid City. Valley Sports Bar. Make it your place. 1865 Valley Drive, Rapid City.
Where can you get surprisingly great rates on auto and renter's insurance? At State Farm. I'm State Farm agent Matt McCormick, and I'm your one-stop shop in Rapid City for protecting your car and your stuff for surprisingly great rates. So stop looking around. Call me, State Farm agent Matt McCormick, for surprisingly great auto and renter's rates today. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Individual premiums will vary by customer. All applicants subject to State Farm underwriting requirements.
From high school to college to the pros, from Rapid City to Sioux Falls, the Nate Brown Show is South Dakota's sports talk.
Welcome back in. The Nate Brown Show is on Fox Sports Radio, South Dakota Sports Talk Show. Appreciate you being here. Thursday edition. It's always a great day in South Dakota. We know that. But Thursday is happy hour on the Nate Brown Show. What's that mean? You're like, happy hour? Yes. Rob Kegron's in every hour, every week. Second hour, our guest host, Rob Kegron, one of the all-time greats, New York City radio legend. It's a legend. Rob Kegron's coming in, our guest host, next hour. Let's go to Indy. The Combine. I want to go to the draft side of this. He does a great job. I follow him on Twitter at Rise and Draft. Rise and Draft. NFL Draft, college football analyst, Ryan Roberts. A to Z Sports.com. Ryan, welcome back on. How are you?
I'm doing pretty well. How about yourself?
Doing good, man. Thanks for your time. You're busy out there. Let me get your perspective here. Do we still learn stuff from the Combine with prospects? Because I think a ton of fans are seeing this guy's not working out, this guy's not working out, this guy's not working out. So what do we do at the Combine?
That's a great question. I mean, I think from the NFL perspective, you learn a lot, right? Like, because I think that we kind of hyper-focus on, obviously the athletic testing, which is great for the fans, which is great for the media because it's something to talk about. But the biggest thing that we gain from the NFL side is that the NFL gets the opportunity to get the medicals, to have the ability to sit down with these players and interview them. So you really get to deep dive into the person, right? Because I think that we I think we forget that we're not just investing in good football players, we're investing in people ultimately. So I think the NFL, that's the biggest gain. For me personally, it is great to just be here in Indianapolis and have boots on the ground a little bit, because honestly what I do is I talk and I listen. I listen a lot this time of year, right? Because you're going to run into a lot of NFL executives on the streets. You're going to listen to scouts. You're going to hear from agents. And you are going to gain a lot of clarity of not only what the process is for these players, but also what is this thing going to look like when we get finally to April. So I think there's a lot to gain for being in Indianapolis. But I do think that if we're just talking from a general population perspective of the people that are watching on TV, you're just going to learn what most people know, right? Like Shamar Stewart being an absolute freak of an athlete, like isn't groundbreaking. Like you got to watch him at Texas A&M and know that like he's raw as anything, but he's also super athletic. But I think that the real gain that we're talking about from a perception is that for me, it's just kind of listening. Seeing what's happening here, that these NFL teams get these players firsthand and really get to understand who they are as people.
What are you hearing on this quarterback group? That's the big focus every year, and some people say there's not a top-tier NFL quarterback in this group. Is that right or not?
I think that it is slightly overstated, but I do think there's hesitation in my voice on the quarterback class at the top when it concerns Cam Ward. I think that Cam Ward, the NFL likes Cam Ward. I think that he is going to be the first quarterback taken based upon just kind of things that I'm hearing right now. And I do think that, like, we always do the thing of, like, if he was in last year's quarterback class, where would he rank? Well, I think he would have been a top 15 pick last year even in that class that had 6 quarterbacks taken very early. So I think Cam Ward is well-liked around the league. I will say this, though, is that the perception that's out there is we talk about Cam Ward versus Shedeur Sanders a lot. And I happen to think that Shedeur Sanders, while liked by some, I do think there's a lot of hesitation on him for average arm strength, average to below average athleticism, and a little bit of a smaller frame as well. So I think from a perception perspective, I do think that Cam Ward is liked. Shedeur Sanders is liked by some, but not as many as some think. And then after that, I think it's just about a bunch of dart throws. Like, do you like Jackson Dart? Do you want to invest a top 64 selection in a guy like a Jalen Milroe? Like, there's a lot of dart throws in this class other than Cam Ward and then Shedeur Sanders at the top. So I do think that obviously the tail off is very big after those top two, but I think there's even a tail off from 1 to 2, to be honest with you.
Ryan Roberts on tonight from the Combine, NFL Draft college football analyst. He's at A2ZSports.com. Follow him on X at Rise and Draft. So Travis Hunter, I'm a big fan. I watched him play. He's just an unbelievable athlete. I get the feeling he's a better slot wide receiver than DB. But what are the scouts, what do the teams want to use him as?
It's very split, to be honest. I've talked to some teams that love him as a receiver more. I've talked to some that like him at cornerback more. I actually personally like him a little bit more at corner in this conversation, which is fascinating. This is my favorite part of the draft process, and specifically about Travis Hunter, because I think there's so many different perspectives out there. I do think that, like, one ideology that's interesting in that conversation, though, is he's a guy that does want to try to play both sides of the ball in some capacity, right? Like, obviously, him being a starter at 2 different spots is not really feasible from a pure volume perspective, but I do think it's easier for a guy to be a full-time corner that plays some wide receiver than vice versa, right? Because when you're talking about the cornerback position, there's so much communication that is involved. There's so many different coverage variations, like all these different layers to the conversation, I think make it pretty hard to be a part-time corner. So I do prefer him at corner, but it is a little bit split around the league. Like, I do think that there's people that prefer him at wide receiver, while others do prefer him at cornerback at this stage.
Okay, that's interesting. And you say he could play a little bit of both, but not like Colorado reps.
No, I think it's more like this, in my opinion, right? Like, and sorry for the background noise; it's just a little bit loud. But cornerback, I think, like, if we're talking about him as a full-time corner, he's your starting corner. He plays the majority of the snaps. And at wide receiver, I think it's about high-leverage situations, right? Like, is that a 2-minute drill? Is that a spot that you really need him? I'm thinking, like, full-time corner and, like, 10 to 15 snaps at wide receiver. Like, we're not talking about a kid that's going to play 50-plus snaps on both sides of the football.
Okay, so Titans have the number 1 pick. What are they thinking here? People have said you could trade out of that, but they need players, so what do you do at number 1?
I think the Titans are jockeying the best way they can and trying their best to generate as much interest in that pick as possible. And I think that we've seen that for a little bit of a mixed signal that they're sending, right? They're talking about quarterbacks and how much they like guys like Shedeur Sanders, and then they're talking about how they wouldn't pass up I think they call it blue chip talents for the quarterback position. So they're sending a lot of mixed signals, and there's wavelengths out there that they are open to trading. And when there's so many different possibilities, I think that points to, personally, that they are willing to be up for a little bit of a ransom to move up for someone to that first overall selection. So I think if I had to predict it, if there is enough interest, I think they're okay with trading back. Because I think the ideal scenario for them is like if the New York Giants at 3 want to trade up for a Cam Ward, or let's say just hypothetically, I think they would be more than okay to trade back to 3. Hopefully the top two quarterbacks go 1 and 2 to the Giants now in this hypothetical, and the Cleveland Browns, and you still get your guy Abdul Carter at number 3. So I think trade back is a thing that I think they would really love. If they had to stick at number 1, I think they would take a quarterback, but that's a little bit open-ended right now. I think they want to trade back and take best player available, personally.
Okay, you covered Notre Dame, so I got to ask you about Riley Leonard.
Sure.
I don't know what his NFL prospect is like. What do you say?
I think he's a day 3 dart throw at this point. I mean, he's a great athlete. I expect him to test really well this week. Him running in the 4.5s would not surprise me at all. Him having a good vertical and broad jump would not be surprising even one bit, because he was a big-time high school basketball player. So I expect him to be a really good athlete. The passing is still, there's talent there. There's traits, but it's still far away from being like a starter-level NFL player. So I think he's going to end up being a day 3 dart throw, probably somewhere between round 5 to round 6. But he's an NFL athlete, and he's an NFL thrower, for sure. It's just a question of, can he develop into an NFL passer, which is obviously a big distinction. So I'll say day 3 dart throw for now. I do think some teams like him, but they also understand that there's a lot of development that needs to happen in order for him to be a playable quarterback on the next level right now.
Ryan, who is the best player in this draft? Best player?
I think it's Abdul Carter from Penn State. I think it's a really close debate between him and Travis Hunter. And Travis Hunter is a player that we just have never seen before, a guy that could legitimately go first round at 2 different positions on both sides of the ball. But I really do think that Abdul Carter, when you measure it, man, 6'3 plus, 250 plus pounds, a kid that started 2 years at off-ball linebacker for Penn State. And if 2024 was just a glimpse into how good he is, because I think one thing that we don't talk about is Abdul Carter could still get a lot better. It's crazy, man. The speed, the explosiveness, the closing burst, the ability to bend around the track. That kid's a special player. If he was the best pass rusher in the NFL in 4 years, although there's a lot of great pass rushers in the NFL, I would not be shocked at all, because I think he's that special.
Ryan Roberts tonight from Indy. Follow his coverage at A2ZSports.com. NFL Draft College Football Analyst at Rise and Draft on Twitter. Ryan, thanks for the time, man. I appreciate it.
Absolutely, brother. Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot. Ryan Roberts on the Nate Brown Show. Good stuff from Indianapolis. NFL Draft College Football Analyst for A2ZSports.com. Knows his stuff. Breaking down the picks a little bit. I'm a Travis Hunter fan. He is a gamer. So which way is he going to go most? Is he going to go wide receiver most of the time? Is he going to go DB most of the time? Titans coach said he could play both ways. Yeah, but what's that, 20 plays on one side, then a majority on the other side? So we'll see how this goes. Titans have the first pick. Ryan Roberts said they're essentially trying to trade out of that thing. Rob Kegron's coming into the second hour. Hang on, our guest host every Thursday. Thursday happy hour with Rob Kegron on the way. Zach Borg still coming up from Dakota News Now, talking high school sports. And I got to say, there's a high school sports story out of Nebraska last night where a student body cheering got in trouble. And I got to ask, how strict do you need to be with high school student bodies these days? How strict do you want to be? We want students at the game, school spirit, intensity, fun. How strict do you want to be or not? We'll debate next.
This is South Dakota's Sports Talk Show.
There's nothing like it. Not for hundreds of miles in any direction. A gathering space for all kinds of people from all kinds of backgrounds. To share, to revel, to stand together and celebrate life's greatest moments.
We are number one. So you can always be their number one. Black Hills Surgical Hospital and Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center. The number one hospital in the nation for major orthopedic surgery.
At Renewal by Anderson, we ask, why should we only feel the love on Valentine's Day in February? We have declared the entire month of February as the month of love. That's right, we did it. We laugh at February snow and cold. We love installing the best new windows and doors. We love how warm, cozy, quiet, and more valuable our awesome windows and doors make our customers' homes. Love, love, love. Tell someone you love them today. And please book your free estimate right now at RVARapidCity.com. Feel the love every day in February with Renewal by Anderson.
Now, Black Hills Tire has an interesting motto: one car, one customer, one opportunity at a time.
We just want to portray that every person that comes in, we're going to give you our undivided attention. You're not a number to us.
Every single individual customer, every single individual thing we do for that customer is what makes us.
Yeah.
Every time you come into our store, this time, next time, the time after that, every single one was an individual chance for us to earn your trust. Check us out at blackhillstire.com.
Here's your Fox Sports Rapid City forecast. Lows level off around 39. Tonight, under mainly clear skies, winds out of the west 8 to 15 miles per hour. Mainly sunny tomorrow, daytime highs approaching 57. Lows around 28. Tomorrow night, partly cloudy skies. Daytime highs approaching 52. Saturday, under mainly sunny skies. 61 Sunday. That's your forecast on the Black Hills Sports Station, Fox Sports Rapid City. Right now, it's 59 degrees.
Shop the area's best selection of pre-owned Hondas and Honda certified pre-owned at Denny Mantle Rushmore Honda. Get financing as low as 0.99% APR on certified pre-owned Civics, CRVs, HRVs, and Passports. 0.99. Plus, shop a lot full of used cars, trucks, and sport utilities, including a great selection of all-wheel drive and 4x4 trucks and SUVs. See us at Denny Mantle Rushmore Honda or RushmoreHonda.com. Length of finance contract is limited with qualified credit. Expires 2/28/25.
We're bringing Music City to you. Get ready for Nashville Night on March 22nd at the Box Elder Event Center. The concert kicks off at 7 p.m. with the talented Jessica Luby, followed by the high-energy Velvet Rodeo. Put on your boots and get ready to dance. Plus, test your skills on the mechanical bull.
Hold on tight, honey. You got it.
And enjoy Nashville hot chicken sandwiches.
Yeehaw!
Tickets are just $20 in advance or $25 at the door. Get your tickets now at thebox.live. Don't miss out on the country event of the year.
This is The Nate Brown Show, also streaming live on YouTube. Subscribe to The Nate Brown Show on YouTube.
Welcome back in. South Dakota Sports Talk Show tonight on Fox Sports Radio. The Nate Brown Show is live every afternoon drive. Thanks for being here. If you missed parts of the show, from our national guest or South Dakota sports newsmakers, go to the Nate Brown Show podcast. It's on Apple, Spotify, Amazon, all of the podcast platforms. So wherever you get your favorite podcast, download the Nate Brown Show podcast, and you've got every show from South Dakota, from high school to college to the pros. Search the Nate Brown Show, and you've got the podcast. Thursday happy hour straight ahead. Hang on, second hour of the show coming up. Rob Kegron will be live in studios, our guest host, the legend, national radio legend. Did you know this? I mean, Rob Kegron, I mean, we bring him in. We bring in the A-listers. Rob's coming in for Thursday happy hour. Hang tight. So, hey, I want to know something here. I've been going to high school games and following this. So, here's the take. This day and age, there's less students that go to watch high school games. So, this has been kind of the trend. It used to be a bigger crowd. It used to be, you go to any rivalry games across the state, especially in bigger schools. I think small towns are still in this. I think. I haven't been to small town hoops for a while, but you go to the bigger schools, less students, they say, are going to the games. And then I go to them and I watch. I'm like, yeah, probably. I think that's the trend. So people to say, how do we get students to come to the games? I even did a segment on this last year, I think, and had interviews on how do you get students these days when they got this, they got phones, they got other things going on. How do you get the student body, school spirit to support high school games? Well, let's say you do have students how far do you let them go when it comes to having quote-unquote fun at games when they're in a rivalry setting? For example, there's this story out of Nebraska last night. I just woke up to it, and I'm like, hey, what's going on here? There was a basketball game in Nebraska, Gretna, and there was a student body who was minor heckling, I'd call it, minor heckling of the other team, booing some calls that they thought were bad. And then they got called out by the administration there in Nebraska. And then they got called out by a media member down in Nebraska, said they were too hard on the students. This was typical. This was fun. And the administration then took the air out of the building. They took the excitement out of the student body. And so I thought, well, this is interesting. So you can't have kids being total morons. I mean, you can't have that. I went to a game earlier this year. There was a student that had to be escorted out of the building. Had to be escorted out. Kind of got on the court in one instance. So had to be. I mean, you can't have that. But let's say to you, student body is doing some heckling, like a kid fouls out, and they do the old left, right when he's walking back to the bench. And then when he sits down, he fouls out, and they yell, sit down. They do the left, right. They did that last night in Nebraska. The administration said, we can't have it. Booing refs calls. This is a serious one now. Do you let the high school student bodies get away with booing the ref calls? Most of the games I go to, that happens. I'm just being honest. Most of the game, I mean, you got to be careful with the student bodies going over the top, going into nasty chants, going into stuff like that. But if you're going to a game and you haven't seen booing of calls, and I'm not telling you it's great. I'm not telling you it's a great thing to do. Students are going to do stuff like that. So what's the line? Do you want them to come to the games and have fun and kind of be into it, be a part of the game? Or do you want them to then not come because you're too harsh on them? How strict do you get when it comes to high school student body fan sections? It's my question of the day on the Nate Brown Show this Thursday. Question of the day. How strict do you need to be with high school student body fan sections? Booing ref calls, minor heckling of the opponent. Is that acceptable from a high school student body to you? Or if you're an AD, you have to step in, you got to cut this out, cut that out. I mean, I've went to rivalry games, and there's usually pretty good back and forth. I haven't seen nasty stuff. I've been to some college rivalry games. Got a little nasty at times, some college rivalry games. So how strict do you need to be? You can't be too strict. You got to let go. You got to let them boo, and you got to let them do that. Or, no, you have to be strict, zero tolerance policy. Every school's different. I've been to some schools, they don't let the students do anything, honestly. And I've covered the school a long time. They don't let the students do anything. I mean, hardly anything. And then I've been to some that are pretty loose. So which is the right call? Gretna, Nebraska, kind of in the headline here because the administration said their students were doing too much. Then the students complained about it, and then a media member at Nebraska said, yeah, I was at the game. It wasn't anything bad. You can't take the students out of the game like this. So when it comes to high school student body fan sections, how strict do you have to be? Very strict, or you got to let it go to keep the students coming? Here's 88% of the audience on Twitter is voting, 171 votes, so quite a lot. 88% of the votes, you can't be too strict. You got to let them boo and heckle. That's interesting. 12% of you say you have to be strict with the students. That is interesting. So we side for the students. Now, one line you can't, nasty stuff, vulgarity, some of that stuff, you can't have it. Booing of the calls, I don't love it, but I think you're going to let that go. How are you going to stop booing of the calls when you're at a game? How are you going to stop the left, right chant when somebody fouls out when they go and sit down to the bench? That's not that bad, is it? That's not that bad, and I guess that's what the kids in Nebraska got in trouble about last night. Into the second hour, let's go with Zach Borg, Dakota News Now, sports anchor, live from Sioux Falls. A lot of high school topics to cover with Zach next.
This is the Nate Brown Show.
Fleet Farm's bucket sale is back. You know the drill. Pick up a Fleet Farm 5-gallon bucket for only $3.99. Then save 15% on everything you can fit inside, including clearance. That's right. Any qualifying items you can fit in the bucket are 15% off. So come on in and load up on savings during Fleet Farm's bucket sale. Now through March 5th. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
The South Dakota Lottery is all about good fun. But too much fun is not good fun, like too much ice cream. Brain freeze is not fun. Or roller coasters. Not good fun! Or lottery games. Too much fun is not good fun. That's why the South Dakota Lottery reminds you to always play only for fun. And if you can't, help is available and always confidential. Because too much fun is not good fun. Play responsibly. Keep the fun good. Learn more at keepthefungood.com.
Hey, sports parents and ballers of all ages, Rapid City has a new sports facility that you have to check out. E3 Sports Complex on East North Street is the newest indoor sports facility featuring 4 full courts. E3 Sports is here to serve the community and wants all athletes of any age to come and experience expert training, coaching, and the opportunity to unlock your athletic potential. Memberships and court rentals are available now. Come to play at E3 Sports Complex. Learn more at e3sports.org.
Collins Siding has been the region's premier window siding, door, and gutter installation specialist since 1974. They use only the highest quality materials and never compromise on their workmanship. Collins Siding is licensed, bonded, and their estimates always include labor, materials, and applicable permits and taxes. Collins Siding has been providing top quality service and exceeding high standards for over 45 years, and you can find out how by visiting them at 2016 Cherry Avenue. Collins Siding, 2016 Cherry Avenue, Rapid City.
KIMM Rapid City and K294BT Rapid City, the Black Hills Sports Station, 106.7 FM and 1150 AM, Fox Sports Rapid City.
Hi, this is David Brenneman with Coldwell Banker Black Hills Legacy in Rapid City. With today's home values, right now could be a great time to sell your home. The Black Hills housing market is competitive, and I would love to help you get top dollar for your home. I have been selling real estate and attracting buyers in Rapid City for nearly 20 years. When it comes to buying or selling, experience matters. If you're thinking of selling your current home, let me put my expertise to work for you. Just Google David Brenneman, Coldwell Banker. List it, sell it, and move on. With me, David Brenneman, Coldwell Banker.
We're talking with Rihanna Wickett at Elevate Performance Physical Therapy with an Elevate Performance Health Minute. So if somebody has an athlete, Rihanna, who they suffer a concussion, they come and see you, what can you do for them?
We want to see them as soon as possible to make sure that we can make their return to sport as safe as possible. So we can look at proprioception, balance, vestibular work, and cervical strength. When they try to get back up to speed, you said a treatment plan, very important as they return to sport. Making sure that the athlete has a skilled plan moving forward so that they don't return to sport way too early, making sure that the return to contact is an appropriate timing. And the goal of that is you do not want to have another concussion getting back to it too early. Correct. If we have another concussion too early, the athlete is at a huge risk of further problems down the road, including anything with their school or memory or continuous headaches. For concussion treatment, get started at elevateperformancesd.com.
This is the Nate Brown Show. From the biggest national names to the hottest stories across South Dakota. Welcome to the Nate Brown Show. Here's your host, Nate Brown.
It is South Dakota Sports Talk Show, Thursday edition. Here we are. Thanks for being a part of the program and making the show possible. The Nate Brown Show is live on Fox Sports Radio and also there on Twitter. Follow us and watch us live right now every afternoon drive. You got us at Nate Brown Show on Twitter. So appreciate you being here. Hope you've had a great Thursday. It is Thursday Happy Hour with Rob Kegrod coming in, our guest host the rest of this hour. Hang tight. First we go to high school sports galore. It's time, man. We got state wrestling, state hoops coming up. This is busy right now. Dakota News Now sports anchor Zach Borg is on tonight. Find him on X at Iceborg. Zach, what's going on? How are you?
Like you said, it's that busy time of the year. I know we actually get a little break with wrestling out your way, so I kind of don't mind it when, contrary to this popular belief that everybody has that we want all the tournaments in Sioux Falls, I don't mind when they're out west and I can let Vic Quick and his gang shoot some highlights and vice versa. So,
get ready.
A little bit of
Get ready.
Contrary to everybody's belief, we really don't want every tournament out here because then it would be even more work.
Okay, very nice, very nice. Summit League's coming up next week, so we'll get ready for that.
And we've got Northern Sun, actually. I mean, everybody thinks Summit League's obviously the big one. I mean, that's the big draw, but, we've got Northern Sun Conference, which has all our local divisions, pulls into the Pentagon on Saturday and runs through Tuesday. GPAC, NAIA, so we've got a lot of college. I mean, the colleges all really get rolling this week. And, oh, by the way, our Division I hockey program could make a run and beat the NCAA tournament. They're going to be hosting games in their conference tournament. So
wild.
It's crazy. It just every year there's more stuff because we have more teams. It's just wild.
Keeps you in business. I like that. Zach Borgon tonight. Let's talk some high school sports. So there was an article written. This has come up the last couple of years. Now an article written by Mitchell Radio announcer that we should really look at the Sodak 32 for Class A and Class B. The Sodak 16 is not good enough. The top two teams out of a region if you did the 32, let's say you had 4 teams make the state tournament. That's half of the state tournament field out of one region. Do you want that?
I don't really think so. I mean, I've read the article. To me, a Sodak 32 is just too much. I mean, I understand it's about getting the best teams to the state, and I think people kind of have to bear in mind that there's going to be some years where some regions are just better, but unless it's becoming a thing where it's the same region every single year, I think you have to just accept there's going to be years where certain areas are maybe a little stronger, and somebody's probably going to get squeezed. I think that's something we kind of have to accept. I think sometimes we forget in society. You have to teach a lesson. Sometimes life isn't fair. Everybody can't go to the state tournament. Everybody can't. Sometimes you don't get to go. I mean, that's just the reality. I think the Sodak 16 system has worked pretty well. I thought the old regional system didn't quite work so well because often there were regions that were underrepresented, and you would have a couple of. I mean, I could go on and on. I remember the best one. I mean, I know the Northwestern and Warner for volleyball was always the big one.
Because you only got one team, Zach. That was the. I didn't love that either. You had to be the only team out of that region. That was tough.
Exactly, and the other one I can really go back to was Del Rapids and Sioux Falls Christian back in basketball, boys basketball, when you had Ty Hoagland playing. I mean, they always met for the region final, and you always felt like, my God, one of these teams, it's a crime that one of these teams is going to state and the loser has to go home. But I think you're going a little too far. I mean, I understand some of the points they're making on the other side of it. Again, even then, you still have to win games, even if you go to a 32-game format. But I 32-team format, but I just think that's going a little too far. I think the 16 is the good number. Like I said, there's just going to be years where people forget Sioux Falls Christian, and I'm going to be running highlights from this region. I mean, I think the big talker right now is Region 4A, where you have Sioux Falls Christian, who is ranked number 2 in the state in Class A for the girls. They're playing Lennox tonight. And then down in North Sioux City, you've got the defending state champion Vermilion, who's ranked, I believe they're ranked 4th. They're playing Dakota Valley, who's ranked 3rd. I mean, that's a shame that, one of those teams is going to be left home, but, I mean, that's just the way it is. I mean, I can go back not that long ago. Sioux Falls Christian was not a great girls basketball program, but they built themselves up. Vermilion has been kind of up and down. I think they're going to be up for a while. I mean, it's just, it's not like this region has this 4A region has always had 3 teams that have been deserving of going to state. So I think those things kind of ebb and flow.
I will say this. If you can't be in the top 2 in your region, I don't think you're going to win the state tournament. I mean, I really, if you're not in the top 2 of your region, no matter if it's really good or not, probably not going to win the state title.
I mean, I think that's somewhat fair. I mean, if you're not in the top two, you're probably not beating the top two teams. But, I don't know. I just think that, I think the other thing beyond that is just, I think going to a 32, man, I think some of those games, the 1 versus 32 matchup would be, you got a lot of really bad games.
Yeah.
I looked at some of those regional scores we had early, and you had teams that weren't even getting double digits. I mean, and those weren't even like the games against top seeds. Those were like the play-in games, I think.
Right.
It's just like, why would you want to subject? I think one of them. I don't want to mention the teams because there are teams that have had rough years, and there's a variety of reasons for that. Why would you want to make them schlep hundreds of miles, even if it's in a neutral site, to just go get creamed? That's not fun for them.
No, expensive too. Yeah,
and it's expensive. You're right there. That's a lot of expense. I don't know how you're going to reschedule it. I mean, plus you're going to be running into other state tournaments. So if you have parents who have other kids in other sports, whether it's wrestling or gymnastics or whatever, or other cheer teams or administrators, I mean, how are they going to rejigger the schedules around if you have to move this? You have to move things around. I don't know. I mean, it's just. I think it's a lot of headaches. I think right now the system is good with where we've got it. We've got 2 teams per region getting in.
You're still not guaranteed regional representation at state, so it's not like it's that thing, right? I mean, so you still get the best teams out of the final 16.
I mean, the point Ryan Deal made, and I echo it to him, is even if you went to 32, you still got to win 2 games to get in.
Right.
There's no guarantee that. I mean, yeah, you might win the first game if you're matched up against a 28 seed. But there's no guarantee you're winning the second. So, it's just a reality. Not everybody gets to make state, man. I mean, I run into this with football a lot. I mean, it's too easy to make the football playoffs anymore. It should be a thing that is coveted. It should be a thing that is not easy to get into, and it should be a thing that you don't always get into.
No, I got you. Let me go to my other topic before I let you run. Zach Borgon tonight, Dakota News Now for the coverage there, sports anchor. Other topic, this came through today. This Senate Bill 219 is saying Sioux Falls and the few school districts that do not accept cash for school events, they are going to accept cash. This Senate bill was voted through at the Senate and the House. One step signature from the governor is all it takes. You better make sure cash is coming to Sioux Falls games, Zach Borg. What do you say?
I'm a little old-fashioned. I like that. I mean, although to be fair, I don't really use much cash. I use my card mostly, but I understand people. I mean, we're in a lot of, even Sioux Falls, we got a lot of grandparents. We got older people who are going to games. They don't want to use just their cards. They don't have apps. I mean, it's.
You think they should we have a state law? I've always said this. Did it have to come to this, or could we have compromised and said, just have a cash line, even if it's not used that much?
Well, I mean, I'm guessing the only thing is maybe just, maybe if there's an expense to that, or maybe they're having, some of these facilities just probably don't have the ability to, put together a lot of separate lines, for all I know. But I don't know. I mean, to me, it just can't, or buy a scanner. But again, there's expenses to everything. So, yeah, I mean, I think that'd be the easiest way, is just, have 2 separate lines. But I don't know what all goes into that. Either way, I've never understood that. I think you have to, I think every place I've ever gone to any other sporting event at the college or the professional or the minor league level, there's an option to pay some cash. I've never not heard of that, so I don't know why a high school district wouldn't allow you to pay cash. I mean, let's revisit this topic in maybe 10, 20, 15 years if that many people, when we're that farther on down the line, if we're that far away from cash. But
all right,
I totally understand it now. I still think we're at a point where there are still plenty of people who are using cash, and especially when you're talking about high school events where it's grandma and grandpa going to the thing. I mean, if they don't have an app or if they're not using their plastic cards that much, I don't think they should be punished for that.
Zach Borgon tonight, hitting it out of the park, and he's covering high school hoops tonight. Dakota News Now, sports anchor. Zach, good to have you, man. Thanks a lot.
Hey, take care, Nate.
I appreciate it. Zach Borgon tonight as we get going with the second hour. Dakota News Now, sports anchor. You know who's in next? It is Happy Hour starting next. Brought to you by the Skybox. Rob Kegron live in studio. A lot to discuss on the way.
This is the Nate Brown Show.
It seems like the cost of everything is going up, so it's nice to save a little dough when you can, especially for something you love to eat every day. Before I go grocery shopping, I print out a coupon for $1 off any Country Hearth, Village Hearth, or Artisan Hearth bread product. My favorite is Dakota Style 12 grain. My wife's breakfast go-to is a toasted Village Hearth English muffin. We can save $1 on each. Go to countryhearthbreads.com/coupons and print 1 or 2 out before your next shopping trip. And don't forget, Country Hearth, Village Hearth, and Artisan Hearth bread products are baked locally and delivered fresh daily.
President's Day sale is on at Splash City. Rest, relax, and enjoy a new Sundance or Jacuzzi spa. Splash City has a large inventory of hot tubs, swim spas, and saunas. No wait time. Right now, during the President's Day sale, get 0% financing for 60 months on hot tubs and swim spas, or up to $5,000 in instant rebates. Plus, get an accessory package valued at $2,000 with all qualifying purchases. But wait, there's more. Get 0% financing for 36 months on saunas. Visit Splash City in Sioux Falls, Rapid City, or Sioux City. It's time to make a splash. You've earned it.
Imagine this, a bank that is committed to you, that understands your needs, your values, and your growth. No more settling for the status quo. Pioneer Bank and Trust offers tailored solutions, innovative services, and a team of experts dedicated to your success. You deserve more attention and more support from your bank. Don't settle. Pioneer. Pioneer Bank and Trust. Local.
Pioneer Bank and Trust. Member FDIC.
Ready to be part of something big? Meet the Rapid City Sports Commission, the powerhouse behind sports in Rapid City. The commission focuses on bringing regional and national tournaments, supporting homegrown events, and creating opportunities for our kids. But it's not just games, it's a win-win for all of us. Youth sports fuel our economy. Hosting events in Rapid City means out-of-town families shop, dine, and stay with us, which boosts sales tax revenues too. To get in on the action, visit rcsportscommission.com, where we're all about the hustle.
Here's your Fox Sports Rapid City forecast. Lows level off around 39 tonight under mainly clear skies. Winds out of the west 8 to 15 miles per hour. Mainly sunny tomorrow. Daytime highs approaching 57. Lows around 28 tomorrow night. Partly cloudy skies. Daytime highs approaching 52 Saturday under mainly sunny skies. 61 Sunday. That's your forecast on the Black Hills Sports Station, Fox Sports Rapid City. Right now, it's 59 degrees.
If you're in the market for a vehicle right now, you probably have noticed it's sometimes hard to find the right one. That's where Summit Automotive Group steps in. Stacy and Matt and their staff working hard to get a great selection of pre-owned vehicles at affordable prices. At Summit Automotive, they have a different outlook on selling you a vehicle. You'll experience stress-free shopping, friendly, honest service with no high-pressure sales gimmicks. Before you buy, drop by East Highway 44, SummitAutoGRP.com.
Get away from it all in the great outdoors for lasting family memories with a new or pre-owned RV from Dakota Discount RV. We make your RV experience fun and easy by providing you with a quality recreational vehicle, competitive pricing, and professional sales and service. Our large inventory of fifth-wheelers, travel trailers, toy haulers, and live-in horse trailers allows us to save our customers thousands of dollars compared to most dealers. Stop by and see us at Dakota Discount RV, 3330 East Mall Drive across from Cabela's and on JB Road, Blackhawk.
Your sports, your show. From East River to West River, this is South Dakota's sports talk show, The Nate Brown Show.
Welcome back in. The Nate Brown Show is on Thursday edition. Are you having a good day today? Are we okay? Pretty warm across South Dakota. We'll take it. It's always a great day in South Dakota. Rob Kegron's in. It's Thursday. That's Happy Hour brought to you by the Skybox, our #1 sports bar downtown Rapid City. Hit the Skybox right above the firehouse. Rob Kegron's in. I just got an email last week. Whenever it said, when it's titled Rob or when it's titled like Thursday Show or something like that, I'm like, oh boy. And it's actually like, who is this Rob guy? I like listening to Thursday Happy Hour.
Love it. Love to hear that.
So get ready. Let's see if he can still win you over. I've got something for you today. I've been talking NFL draft because it's combine time. And so, every year it's like, dead zone here. What do we got popping? The combine's going on. Nobody does anything. So Shedeur Sanders doesn't throw. Travis Hunter doesn't work out. I mean, nobody does anything, but the NFL teams still get to interview the guys. They still get to, kind of go through all the intel work. They go through the intel work. They go to pro days and they go to stuff. So it's not what it used to be, but I'm very interested in how these teams are playing this out and interested in this draft coming up in April because your team, you're a New York City guy, your New York Giants have the third pick. And what are they going to do? Because I was told by a draft guy tonight in Indianapolis on this show, Titans are going to try and get rid of that pick.
Yep.
They want to get rid of number one. They're like, let's try and trade. So if you're the Giants, do you go up a little bit? And do you want your Giants to take Cam Ward, to take Shedeur Sanders? You're not smiling. That's kind of a grimace on your face.
It is a grimace because, well, number one, I think the draft is one of the biggest crapshoots in all of sports, right? The NFL draft, right?
It's tough.
I mean, and you could argue that the NBA draft is a bit too. Forget baseball and hockey. I mean, baseball they have like 30 rounds.
Oh
in the
my
draft.
gosh!
Like God knows who some of these. And you're not banking your future. Even on a first round pick in the baseball draft, you're not banking your future. Oh, this guy's going to be great, right? You know that guy is going to be a project. If you have the third pick in the draft, let's say they even stayed there, right? And one of the quarterbacks was available. You have to get that pick right. If you don't get it right, you set back your franchise a minimum of 4 years, would you say?
My Denver Broncos.
Right.
They missed. They took Bradley Chubb. Yep. He was a fine player, but they missed.
Yep.
They took Paxton Lynch before that. They missed.
Yep. And particularly when it's a quarterback, right? If you miss on a quarterback, which we all know you cannot win in the league without, at the very least, an above-average quarterback. Let's say that. I'm not sold on either of these quarterbacks, but in fairness, there are a lot of years where I'm not sold on the quarterbacks, and that sometimes they turn out really good.
I wasn't a Bo Nix. Oh, this is going to be a guy. Now you look at him, competitive, does some good things with Sean Payton. Nobody knew Bo Nix was going to be kind of. Now we'll see where he goes. Yep. He was pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, and my franchise obviously did this about 6 years ago when we drafted with the 6th pick Daniel Jones out of Duke, which I was baffled by when that happened. But then you say, well, maybe the GM, again, you and I, as big of a fans as we are, we're not sitting there and analyzing tape, right? We're not watching the all 22 from above and looking at dissecting every play and understand. Don't get me wrong, we can watch football and really understand it well, but I'm not deep diving into this draft stuff where I know the ins and outs of every single particular prospect. Obviously, there are two choices in Cam Ward or Shedeur Sanders.
And I said, do you want your Giants to draft a QB? Do you want them to? Because I wanted my Broncos to in the Josh Allen year. They had the number 5 pick. The Broncos didn't take a QB. I feel like if you need one, you have to. You have to.
If it were me, I would prefer them to trade for Stafford. I think you can get 3 or 4 more years out of Stafford and maybe draft a kid. Think about where some guys have had real success, like Jordan Love later in the first round.
$50 million for Matthew Stafford. You're going to get ready to roll with that.
I think he brings you a level of credibility immediately, and you're not going to give up the 3rd pick for him. Let's be fair, right? We're not giving up our first-round draft pick this year or next year for Matthew Stafford, knowing that you got to pay.
Well, you got a perfect world.
The Rams don't want him, right? The Rams clearly do not want to restructure his They don't want to restructure his contract. Let's be fair about that. They don't want to give him $50 million. Otherwise, they wouldn't let him go gauge in. What team lets you go gauge interest unless
they don't want to quite go to 50?
They don't want to go to that point. You're not going to give up a first-round pick for him. I feel like he makes you an automatic, legit team. Now, are we going to win the Super Bowl with Matthew Stafford next year? No, but we have Malik Neighbors, who's a heck of now will be a second-year receiver, and you'd still have the 3rd pick where we could use a lot of help at cornerback. I'd take Travis Hunter if he was still there at 3, and if he's not, and you want to trade back and get some more picks, I'd be okay with that too. So if you're asking me, do I want them to draft a quarterback? No, because I'm not sold on either of these two guys, and I think there's a better solution right now.
Boy, I'll tell you, it's the Broncos' lesson. I didn't think we'd come full circle on it, but this is you. You picked Daniel Jones, and now you're scared, like John Elway. He picked Paxton Lynch. He got spooked. Didn't take Josh Allen. He was sitting right in front of him. I don't want to do that again. Now you guys are going to do the same thing. You got Cam Ward, Shedeur Sanders. You're never going to get the number one pick again. You better do something with it. And you're going to pass on it. Or at least you think you want to pass on it.
You're not. You don't have. Again, if this were the first pick, I'd argue that that's a different story.
It could get up there pretty easy, I think.
Well, what I got to give up number 3? And what else am I going to give up to get to 1?
Not much.
You don't think they're going to ask for a couple twos as well?
Up 2 spots.
They're going to ask for this first round. I bet you they'd ask for next year's first round pick and a second or third round pick. Do I want to give up that kind of draft capital to move up 2 spots? Now, if you're sold, right? If you're the general manager of the Giants, Joe Schoen, if I were, and I was sold that one of these guys really gives me a great opportunity for the next 5, 6, 7 years.
Shedeur Sanders.
I would draft that, but I am not convinced on either of these guys, so I don't want to go. Now, if I had the first pick, I probably would do it, where I don't have to move up, right? I don't have to give up any capital to get there. I probably would pick which one of these two I think is going to be a better pro and go with it. But I don't have the first pick. I have the third pick. Even if I had the second, you could make an argument, take whichever one of the two is available, right?
Yeah.
If the first one goes. But you don't. You have the third. It's literally the worst position to be in this draft.
Well, but what at the third, you might have somebody left there. Because they might go with Travis Hunter, might go with Abdul Carter. Shedeur Sanders, somebody like that might be there at 3.
It's possible, but you and I have watched these things long enough now to know that these teams are trading up every single year to get one of those quarterbacks, right?
Yeah,
Think about last year. What was it? 6 guys in the first 12 picks or something? 6 quarterbacks? The first 3 guys were quarterbacks? It's going to be tough if you don't go and go up and get one.
Boy, this will be very interesting. The Giants are in a situation that they're like my Broncos. They picked Daniel Jones, messed it up. You're back to square one, and Rob Kegron's living this pipe dream where he's going to get Matthew Stafford, and they're going to go on a run.
What pipe dream?
Matthew's not coming to New York.
Why wouldn't he?
He looks at the Giants and says,
$50 million, that's what he says.
He says, oh, boy. By the way, the NFL, I want to get into this next. We have to. So I was thinking, wow, the NFL's made a step here. An electronic system using the chips in the balls. We're going to know if it's a first down or not. Larry and Jimmy on the chain gang are just going to be backup. But this is all just fluff. It's fluff. We'll discuss next.
This is South Dakota's Sports Talk Show.
At Renewal by Andersen, we ask, why should we only feel the love on Valentine's Day in February? We have declared the entire month of February as the month of love. That's right, we did it. We laugh at February's snow and cold. We love installing the best new windows and doors. We love how warm, cozy, quiet, and more valuable our awesome windows and doors make our customers' homes. Love, love, love. Tell someone you love them today. And please book your free estimate right now at RVARapidCity.com. Feel the love every day in February with Renewal by Andersen.
We are number one, so you can always be their number one. Black Hills Surgical Hospital and Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center. The number one hospital in the nation for major orthopedic surgery.
There's nothing like it. Not for hundreds of miles in any direction. A gathering space for all kinds of people, all kinds of backgrounds. To share, to revel, to stand together and celebrate life's greatest moments.
Hey Rush fans, it's Rob at the Firehouse Skybox. We are your official home for Rapid City Rush hockey. When the Rush are playing on the road, join other Rush fans at the Skybox and enjoy some great food and cheer on your Rush. We show every Rush away game and we'll have Rush-themed giveaways every road trip. You'll get a chance to win great Rush prizes with the purchase of a drink or food item. The Skybox has the best food and the best Rush game day experience. Go Rush!
The wait is over. We're clearing out our 2024 models at Spearfish GMC Cadillac. We've discounted all of our remaining 2024 models, but don't wait because stock is limited. New 2024 Sierra 1500 up to $9,300 off. 24 GMC Yukon as low as $71,927. Remaining 24 Sierra HDs up to $6,000 off. And 24 Cadillac Lyric EV up to $10,000 off. Spearfish GMC Cadillac. Online always at spearfishmotors.com.
In the past, if you needed auto body repair, you had to get multiple estimates and then try to get your car into a shop for repair. Well, not anymore. In most cases, you can stop by one shop, get your estimate, and schedule your car for a repair. The question now becomes which shop you choose. If you like quality, choose J&J Truck and Auto Body. They have ASE, PPG, and Gold iCar certifications that allow them to offer you a nationwide warranty. And they'll work with your insurance company so you're pleased with the outcome. J&J Truck and Auto Body, 1513 East Philadelphia.
At Black Hills Federal Credit Union, we are committed to improving the lives of our members and bettering our communities. As your community credit union, we're here to get to know you and your unique needs. From extended service hours to the newest technology, we have you covered. Stop by any location to get started or text or call 605-718-1818. BHFCU is member-owned, not-for-profit, and federally insured by the NCUA.
You're listening to The Nate Brown Show, also streaming right now on X. Follow us and watch the show live at Nate Brown Show.
Welcome back in the Nate Brown Show live Thursday happy hour brought to you by the Skybox. We are with Rob Kegron live in studio. Second hour rolling. If you missed parts of the show, go to the Nate Brown Show podcast. Every show, every guest right there. Good stuff tonight. A lot to hit, so let's get rolling. Happy hour presented by the Skybox downtown, right above the Firehouse. Whenever you're downtown, that's your home. They got great food. I love the burgers, the Firehouse beers. That's my read. And then you got state wrestling going on. You got more state tournaments coming up. So wherever you're at in South Dakota, when you're coming to Rapid City, hit the Skybox and the Firehouse downtown Main Street. All right. So I'm gonna see what you think of this. The NFL makes this announcement yesterday, and I was kind of surprised by it. I'm like, whoa, they said they were going to test this out. They're going to test it like Major League Baseball. They're not just going to throw it in, right? But they're going to use the electronic system, this Hawkeye system, to measure the first downs accurately. So the chain gang, which pulls the chains out, and we see if it's a first down, and we use the note card and the Gene Steratore, and that's going to be out. You're going to know when the ball's placed with the chip in it and where that first down mark was. It's measured electronically. They're going to be able to say first down or not right away. So we're going to be able to know right away. Here's the kicker. They're going to let Larry and Jimmy and Leon spot the ball still. They're going to let them spot it. So you think the Josh Allen Kansas City play is going to be fixed? Oh, it was a first down. No, because Leon decided it wasn't a first down, and he marked it a yard shy, half yard shy. That's still going to be the case. So we're going to rely on the refs. But if it hits the line, if his spot touches the line, we know it's a first down. What am I missing here?
I think you make a great point, and I would really love to know, was the side judge there actually named Leon in that Buffalo game?
It looked like it.
What I will say is that you make a great point. If you're going to use the technology, right, particularly with like a Hawkeye system, like I watch a good amount of tennis, not a ton, but a good amount. And when you watch that challenge system that they've implemented, it's been quite a long time that they've been using it now. I mean, it's pretty much instantaneous. Takes about like 10 seconds for it to show up on the screen and to show exactly where that ball hit and if it were in or out, if it hit that line.
I guess. I'm not a fan.
You've never watched tennis?
Yeah, well, tennis. I mean, it slows it just a little
10
bit.
seconds. It does not slow. I mean, think about how much time they take in between points anyway. It does not slow it down that much, and it gets it exactly right. Why wouldn't they use it to also spot the ball? Like, we know for sure that ball crossed this part of the field. I think that would, if you're going to use it to determine whether it's a first down or not, wouldn't that be the easiest thing? At the very least, wouldn't we use it in review to say the chip tells us they got past?
You would think so.
If you know where the line to gain is just via a chip, well, wouldn't it know if it got past that? Wouldn't the chip just give instantaneous feedback?
They have the system, and they have cameras, and they have the whole thing where they know where the player is down, where the ball is. They have it down pat. They did it at the Super Bowl. So they have the system. They're only going to use half of it. So instead of using the chain gang and taking time, they're going to have, their only backup. So I guess it's just quicker. It's like, it is a first down. I kind of get it, but you're going to miss. People are still going to argue about the spots. They're going to argue that these guys miss the spots, and you watch a ton of games like I do, they miss spots
all
because
the time.
They're 3 yards behind the play.
Well, sometimes because they're 3 yards behind the play. Sometimes just by the nature of if the play is in the middle of the field, they're 20 yards away. Like, those officials that are lining up to do the spot, they're not in the field of play, right? They're outside of the field of play for the entirety of the play. They don't run on the field at all until that moment when they have to spot.
The spot is the hardest thing of this thing.
And think about like how many plays happen near the goal line where because of the TV angle, right? I can tell, you can tell maybe if it's a touchdown or not, but if you were lined up right on the goal line on the side, there's these giant men, massive human beings.
Where's the ball? Where's the player?
I got a 5'10" running back who's holding the ball. I can't even see the ball, right? Maybe that's why it takes so long for them to run in and put their hands up for a touchdown motion. I absolutely, if you're going to use this system, use it all over the field. Let's get the call right and get it done quickly all the time. That play that you're referencing, the Josh Allen play, when you look at those two officials coming from either end of the field, they were almost a half yard apart in their spot.
They were, actually.
Well, that means it's a completely imperfect, archaic system when two guys are looking at the same play and they're a half yard apart.
Yep, and now it makes it seem like the NFL is going to fix it. And so fans are going to say, hey, just watch, because people that don't listen to sports radio, if you're just kind of casual and you turn it on, hey, I heard they're using the electronic system, so we'll watch next year, and they'll go, wait, he still spotted it wrong.
Yep.
That's still a first down. They say, no, Leon spotted it there, so it's not.
And I completely agree with you. It makes no sense. If you're going to use this system, go all in on it, get the call right, and it should literally take no time to do this. 5-10 seconds for the chip to send a message to say, yeah, I crossed the line, guys.
But by the way, can we ever get this perfect? Can we? I mean, you want to do balls and strikes.
Yep.
So you're doing the balls and strikes challenges. Hope you're enjoying that.
Yes.
But and you're saying tennis, soccer has offside, and they use VAR. They have offside. Norway's they're voting this weekend. Norway's pro league. They're going to get rid of it. Why do you think so?
Well,
they're going to get rid of it because they say it's taken 7 minutes. We can't get it right. They're going to get rid of the video review in Norway.
Well, the VAR takes way too long in soccer, for sure. I think it started off with a good idea, and they've ruined it by, a player is offside by a millimeter. Guys, it wasn't a big deal.
We're doing the same thing with a ball. A ball is in the strike zone by a millimeter, and you want to challenge it because you're mad at Angel Hernandez all those years.
Because he stinks, and they're inconsistent, those umpires.
It's a millimeter.
But it's not. Sometimes they're missing it by way more than a millimeter. You know that they're missing it by way more than a millimeter.
We can't be perfect.
Again, I have no problem with even the VAR. I'm all for it. But if you can't figure it out for something like this in 60 seconds, 90 seconds at most, then don't change the call, right? That means it's not conclusive enough. The time element in itself, if you can't figure it out in a minute, leave the call the way it is. It's not clear as crystal at that point.
Okay, we'll see where this goes. Electronic system's going to be used, kinda. Basically, no chain gang is all they're saying. That's kind of what it is. Instead of the chains, they're just going to use the line, the chip, and the ball in the system.
Just getting rid of all these nice old people who are running those chains up and down the field.
I'm just going to say they actually had to work, and now they say they're the backups. So now Leon's over there having a cheeseburger. He's still getting to go to the game. He doesn't have to work. I'd take that.
Is Leon the same guy who did the spot?
Yes,
he also runs the chain gang, too?
That's his cousin.
Very creative.
That's his cousin, okay? By the way, I got something for you. Here's a story, and I want to see what Rob says. He's from New York City. He's been in South Dakota now quite some time, so he knows wholesome, good fun, right? How about this? High school kids at games. We want them to come to games, but we don't want them to be morons. There was a story out of Nebraska last night. A student body got in trouble for heckling a little bit, for doing a certain thing. They're mad about it. How much behavior is acceptable? We'll discuss next.
This is the Nate Brown.
There's nothing like it. Not for hundreds of miles in any direction. A gathering space for all kinds of people from all kinds of backgrounds. To share, to revel, to stand together and celebrate life's greatest moments.
We are number one, so you can always be their number one. Black Hills Surgical Hospital and Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center. The number one hospital in the nation for major orthopedic surgery.
At Renewal by Anderson, we ask, why should we only feel the love on Valentine's Day in February? We have declared the entire month of February as the month of love. That's right, we did it. We laugh at February's snow and cold. We love installing the best new windows and doors. We love how warm, cozy, quiet, and more valuable our awesome windows and doors make our customers' homes. Love, love, love. Tell someone you love them today, and please book your free estimate right now at RVARapidCity.com. Feel the love every day in February with Renewal by Anderson.
Sports Rapid City forecast. Lows level off around 39. Tonight, under mainly clear skies, winds out of the west 8 to 15 miles per hour. Mainly sunny tomorrow, daytime highs approaching 57. Lows around 28. Tomorrow night, partly cloudy skies. Daytime highs approaching 52. Saturday, under mainly sunny skies. 61 Sunday. That's your forecast on the Black Hills Sports Station, Fox Sports Rapid City. Currently 56.
Remember when Rapid City had 3 drive-in theaters? When Marine Life Aquarium was up on Highway 16? How about when Piggly Wiggly anchored Bacon Park? Remember when you could fix most any car with duct tape and baling wire? One look under the hood today is all the reminder you need that life goes on and technology waits for no one. No worries, the ASE certified pros at Al's D&I can handle it. Doesn't matter what decade or country it's from, Al's D&I can fix them. Check in at Al's D&I on Sturgis Road and online at alsdniautorepair.com.
Hi, I'm Bill at Wire for USA. If you're looking for internet, TV, security systems, or cell booster systems, why would you look at a company that only gives you one choice for each of these systems? Wire for USA offers it all. Viasat, Hughes, CenturyLink, Dish TV, DirecTV, Wilson cell booster systems, and now Starlink and Equistar internet systems. Starlink and Equistar are the newest, the fastest, and the strongest satellite internet made. No limit, no contract. Wire for USA has it. Call 605-341-5361. Whatever your home or business needs are, call Wire for USA for the products and the service. You don't need training wheels with our system. Connect to the future with Wire for USA at 605-341-5361. We are hometown, we are South Dakota, and we do appreciate your business. 605-341-5361. See us at our new location, 710 North La Crosse Street in Rapid City.
Live callers, big-time interviews, and breaking sports news. This is South Dakota's sports talk show, The Nate Brown.
South Dakota Sports Talk Show live on Fox Sports Radio. Glad you're here. Hope you've had a solid Thursday. We are in the happy hour. Should be fun. It is with Rob Kegron live in studio every Thursday, presented by the Skybox, right above the Firehouse downtown Main Street. Skybox, number one sports bar in Rapid City. Started up the Skybox. It's been really, really good. Watch the big games at the Skybox. March Madness coming up. Whenever you're in Rapid City, hit the Skybox downtown. Great food, great drinks, good times, and sports are on. Okay, I'm going to get into the big quarterback debate here to wrap up the show later. This is an interesting quarterback debate I want to have with Rob Kegron, the quarterback expert. But first I want to go to the high school student body story. So here's the deal. South Dakota high school sports, big. We all know that. I've covered them for over 25 years. Crowds when I started covering them. Now, I covered some good teams, so maybe that was part of it. I went to games that were packed.
Yep.
I mean, it was in the rafters. I went to small gyms. I went to big gyms. They were packed, and it doesn't feel that way now. I think life's changed 25 years later. I've changed. Not, you wouldn't know it, but so I think it's a little different. Kids aren't going to the games as much. There's things going on. The technology, I think you can get into the old man yelling at the clouds version there, but I would think high school students aren't going to games as much.
Absolutely.
Okay?
Too many other things that they can be doing.
Okay. So we want them to come to the games, and I've talked to ADs about this. How do you get students to come to the games? And they've done some promotions at certain schools and sponsorships, like throwing on tailgates and barbecues. It's trying to get the students interested. Well, here's the story out of Nebraska yesterday. And Gretna, Nebraska is playing in a game. Their student body's pretty good. They're into the game. It's a basketball game. They're heckling the other team a little bit. Somebody fouls out. They do the left, right. They walk over, and then he sits down, and they yell, sit down. Refs make a questionable call. They're booing. Their administration says, we got to cut this out. We can't have this behavior. So then you had this Nebraska writer who's a Husker writer said, I was at this game. The administration's taking all the fun out of it. They took the air out of the building. You can't let the students cheer. Who cares about some minor booing, some minor heckling of the other team? Do we care about high school students? What's appropriate, Rob Kegron? Give me your moral compass here.
Absolutely. They should boo. They should heckle. As long as they're not using foul language, as long as they're not being derogatory.
Okay. But here's the deal. I'm with you on it. Here's the deal. Some administrators are just hardline.
Yep.
I mean, they are hardline. What's minor heckling? That's the problem. What constitutes minor heckling?
I think making fun of the opposing team for getting fouled out, just like you described. I think as long as we're not making fun of them for who they are, what they believe, what they look like. I'm absolutely fine. Them missing shots, them making a turnover, them just not playing great basketball.
We don't love booing refs, do we?
I love booing refs. I'm all for it.
Come on.
Oh my gosh.
Come on.
You guys, part of being a fan is not. And again, we say often enough that I'm from New York, and New Yorkers boo like crazy. They boo their own team. Forget boo the other team or the officials. We will boo our own team regularly. So I do always understand that me coming from New York puts a different spin on things. But how else to voice displeasure with an official and their call other than booing them? What, we're supposed to just sit on our hands? They messed up. Okay, good job. Try again. Try harder, ref. No, boo them.
I'm careful with the refs because they take a lot of heat. They take a lot of heat.
Particularly on the high school level where they're not getting paid a whole lot of money. I'm not saying you should torch them, but a little good-natured booing, I think, is absolutely fine.
Good-natured. Now, I will say, how do you stop a student body from booing a ref? I mean, I don't think you really can.
How do you stop them from doing anything, right? The fact that they're united.
That's what they did last night. They just cut them off. I've seen down in Nebraska where they've made them leave the game.
That's just crazy. That's just so over the top, right? What is the whole idea of having that? Is that you have a community, you have a home court advantage, you have these kids who are actually engaged. They're not playing in the game, and they're showing up to show their support. I'm going to continue to encourage that, not discourage that. Okay. And as long as they're not being nasty, right? Like hateful.
I said you can't. I mean, you can't. But I've been to a lot of rivalry games. It's usually pretty good. I saw a kid had to get escorted out of one just a few weeks ago because he got on the floor, close to the floor. There's a little skirmish. You can't have that.
No, agreed.
Can't have that. So when it comes to high school student body fan sections, can you boo the refs and offer some minor heckling of the opposing team? 88% say you can't be too strict with them. 88%. 12% of my audience says you have to be strict with the students. Listener response, you can make your players feel entitled to disrespect the refs, so you can't have it. It can make the players disrespect the refs, so you can't have the students riling up the crowd.
That's on the coach, right? That's on the coach to keep his players in line, right? And honestly, and I played plenty of stuff even in high school. If you were really in your moment, I wasn't thinking about what the fans were saying. In fact, I couldn't even hear them.
Really.
I could hear the noise, right? The noise had an effect and could sometimes bolster you, but I didn't actually know what they were saying. If I were focused on what I was doing, I could not hear. I would tune all of that out.
I hate to break it to you. I interacted with the fans a lot. I mean, that may surprise you.
You did.
That may surprise you.
Hammed it up, huh?
I interacted a lot. Didn't work out all the time for me, but I tried. By the way, let's jump to this, and we'll wrap up with this, the quarterback debate of the day. So Brock Purdy is starting conversations with the 49ers. NFL writer told me tonight his representatives want to get north of $50 million a year. That's what Trevor Lawrence is getting. That's what Tua's getting. Who would you rather have right now if you're having a quarterback? Are you going to pay Brock Purdy a big contract? Or are you going to give Sam Darnold $40 million? Rob Kegron.
Are you really serious with that question? Are you serious?
It's the best of the day.
We're going back to the Sam Darnold days. I mean,
wait, you think that's a comparison?
No, it's not even close. The guy is Brock Purdy is played in a Super Bowl and played well enough to win that Super Bowl. Wasn't his fault that they lost. He's thrown he's played 6 playoff games, I think, and has 1 interception.
This is amazing. I got you to stick up for Brock Purdy. See, I was going to win either way here.
Look at this.
I got you right here. You hated Brock Purdy.
Little trap you set it for me there, huh?
Entrapment. So you say Brock Purdy's that much better than Sam?
Yes. He is infinitely better than Sam Darnold.
So Brock Purdy on the Vikings is as good as Sam Darnold is. What if you put Sam Darnold with the 49ers?
Sam Darnold would be nowhere near as good as Brock Purdy because once it comes down to the club, like when we actually need him to win a game, he's going to look like a guy who's completely stunned at where he is, as he did in the last week against Detroit and the playoff game against the Rams.
He did lead the league in explosive pass plays in the NFL. I hate to tell you, over 20 yards. He did lead the league in pass plays over 20 yards. But Sam Darnold, you just killed him, and all he did was win a lot of games. Won a lot of games. Are you going to pay? We got 30 seconds. Brock Purdy, $50 million. Then his people want north of $50 million, like Tua and like Trevor Lawrence. Is he?
You don't have a choice. You have to. Yeah, he's better than Trevor Lawrence.
Whoa.
Oh, yeah, he is, for sure. Trevor Lawrence has done nothing since he's been in the league.
He's had a terrible team.
Oh,
Brock's had a great team.
He has.
He's had a great team.
He has. Now, listen, I'm not, as you know, I'm not the biggest Brock Purdy fan, but I would pay him the money.
All right, that's interesting. Sam Darnold. If I'm the Vikings fans, don't listen to Rob. You got to be careful.
He stinks.
You have to be careful listening to Rob Kegron. You know that already.
Stinks.
Rob Kegron in, The Nate Brown Show on, and The Nate Brown Show podcast going up right now. Thanks for listening. See ya.
So why do teenagers play high school sports?